to a special holiday edition of our Facebook Live post. My name is Abby Wolf. I'm the Public Awareness Coordinator here at the Alzheimer's Society, and I'm joined today by Joanne Michael, our Director of Programs and Operations. And I'm really excited that she's here to join me today because we're going to chat about two main topics, the ABCs of dementia and our Dementia Helpline. And I'd like to recognize that these are both supported by funding from the Government of Canada. And before we get into it, Joanne, can you share a bit more about how these two are related and why they're so important to talk about now?
Absolutely. So what we know is generally over this time of the year, as we're approaching Christmas, New Year's, other holiday celebrations, more and more family members are coming home for the holidays. And it's often the time in which they've not seen their parent or an aunt or uncle for some time, and they notice things are different. And so this is also another opportunity for us to share some information about the ABCs of dementia and how the Alzheimer's Society can help support you through working through getting that diagnosis.
And, you know, one of the things to really understand about the ABCs is that it's aiming to increase awareness of all of the warning signs of dementia. And many people think of Alzheimer's disease and just memory loss, but we know that there are 10 evidence-based warning signs. And what's important about recognizing all of those warning signs is that different types of dementia might present with different warning signs, and by recognizing all of them, we can improve people's understanding and recognition of those signs, and therefore their ability to access a more timely diagnosis. Now, the ABC stands for abilities, behavior, and communication, and like I said, memory loss might not be the only warning sign that someone experiences, and it might not be the first warning sign that someone experiences. So Joanne, can you share a bit more about how someone might recognize the ABCs of dementia?
Absolutely. I think that when we're looking at the ABCs of dementia or any of the more specific warning signs, we're certainly looking for that change in behavior. What's different for that person? When we're thinking about getting together, and it might be mom who is amazing at preparing a multi-course meal, and the meal now may be very simplified, or the taste may be totally off because she has substituted salt for sugar or sugar for salt, or even looking at problems with some language components as well, that they're not communicating in the same manner in which they were before, having difficulty with word finding or naming objects. Again, looking at significant changes in behavior that are affecting activities of daily living.
And those are good examples because it really highlights how it's a change from the normal for a person, and that's what we want people to remember about the ABCs, is that it's a change in abilities, behavior, or communication. Now, this is also kind of where we start to tie our two topics today together, because if people are home for the holidays, they're spending time together and they're recognizing some changes, we also want them to remember that they can come to us for support. And can you share a bit about the supports that are available and how somebody might go about getting connected with those supports?
Sure. So if you're home for the holidays and you're noticing some of those changes in behaviors, we would first invite you to visit our website, abcdementia.ca, where you can learn more about the ABCs and find some examples of some of those changes in behaviors. Also on that ABC of Dementia website, you will also find our Getting a Diagnosis toolkit. And the first page of our Getting a Diagnosis toolkit is a bit of a checklist that helps guide you through if you're concerned about yourself or someone close to you, that they might be experiencing some of the warning signs, what should you do? And those include reviewing the warning signs. We have this fabulous sheet within that Getting a Diagnosis toolkit that talks about preparing for your doctor's visit. And it's very simply some check boxes of, are you noticing some of the changes in memory, the changes in abilities, the changes in mood? that help to guide that conversation with the physician. Helps you to then, the next thing on the list is to make that doctor's appointment and share that information. But most importantly, if going through this process you have questions, that's when we invite you to call the Alzheimer's Society Dementia Helpline. And through that helpline is where we have our trained and educated staff that can provide that personalized service to you. So you have an opportunity to tell your story, to describe the changes that you are seeing, and the staff will help you work through completing the toolkit and pair you and help to guide that conversation that you could have with your physician.
Right. So a great first step, if you recognize the warning signs or you're concerned about changes that you're seeing in abilities, behavior, communication, is to go to the website and download that toolkit, take a look through that, but also to give us a call on our Dementia Helpline for individualized support. And that helpline is going to be available on December 27th, 28th, and 29th when our office is going to be open. But again, the Getting a Diagnosis Toolkit is available anytime on the abcdementia.ca website. There's no holiday closures there, so you can definitely go and check that out.
I think as well, the helpline is not just limited to questions about the warning signs and getting the diagnosis. If you're needing some assistance in how to respond and how you work through some of the challenges that you may be experiencing with the person with dementia's changing abilities, that's also another opportunity to call the Dementia Helpline, where again you can tell your story and our staff can provide you with resources and some tips and strategies so that you can learn more to help the person live well with dementia and help your family live well with dementia. So it's those questions of, oh, Mom has said the same thing 45 times. Why is she saying that? We can help work through that. We need to look at some additional services. How do we access? What might be available? What kind of those services are available? Those are things that you can call the Dementia Helpline about as well, and will help guide you and let you know what might be available in your community.
Right. So individualized support for a specific situation and lots of great information. I think, have I missed anything, Joanne? Is there anything else you'd like to share with viewers today?
No, I don't think so. I think we've covered everything. I think the important thing to note is that there's no wrong question to call the helpline about. If you're concerned or if you have some questions, that's what we're there for. We're here to help answer those questions or guide you to those resources, or just sometimes that person to talk to and share the emotions of what you're dealing with over this holiday season or at any time.
That's a great point. Well, I want to thank everyone for joining in today, and I want to wrap up by saying, as always, if you want to inspire others to learn more about the ABCs or our Dementia Helpline and our programs and services, give this video a like or a share. You can always do that on Facebook, and the recording will be available on our Facebook pages afterwards as well. So perhaps consider following our page for more updates and great information in the new year. I think we'd like to wish everyone a very happy holidays, and thank you for tuning in.